I am always wondering, like, what should I buy organic versus what should I not dedicate the money to buying organic? And the interesting thing about mushrooms is that they are on the Environmental Working Group's Clean 15, which means from your personal health perspective, they don't have much pesticide residue on them, which is great.
Hey, everybody, it's nice to see you again. This is Victoria Riskin. I'm the founder of Bluedot Living. And our imaginative podcast asks the question, imagine if everybody did a particular thing or several things to begin to move the needle to make the changes we need to make in order to take care of ourselves and the planet. The focus today is on the kitchen and on food. And we've been having wonderful conversations with Caroline Saunders, whose Pale Blue Tart Substack is wonderful to read. And she's quite the expert on what kinds of foods are healthy for the planet and for ourselves. So today, the big topic is mushrooms. The magic of mushrooms, not magic mushrooms, mind you, but the extraordinary health and capacity of those tiny little things that are so delicious. Welcome to Caroline.
Okay, we're back here again with Caroline Saunders, who I love talking to about food. And as I've said in the past, when we're going to talk about food, I start to salivate and I get very excited because it's almost as good as eating. In fact, sometimes
Yeah,
it's even
it's
better
so
than
close.
eating. It's so close because you can imagine all the flavors. And
Yeah,
I'm particularly enthusiastic about talking about mushrooms
yeah,
because mushrooms are almost hold the planet together. I mean, I have this image of all the fungi and everything that's under the soil that's
yeah.
talking to each other and linking things and very healing in magical ways. So that whole idea of magic mushrooms, whether they're hallucinogenic or just delicious,
Hmm.
they are kind of magical, aren't they?
They are. I mean, I haven't thought about this for 2 decades, but I remember now the first time I ever saw a fairy circle of mushrooms, and it was in like this verdant, swampy part of Florida where I grew up. And seeing just this perfect circle of mushrooms that had popped
Hmm.
up and realizing it's all from the same centered fungal network, whatever you call it, it
Yeah.
is magical.
It is magical. And they seem to pop up when I've seen them like overnight. And they
Yeah.
must grow very fast because, I'll wake up in the morning and yesterday there wasn't a mushroom and now there is one. And
Yeah.
so there's that as well. Years ago, I had a friend come and visit me from Russia and she said, "Oh, let's go into the woods and collect mushrooms and then I'll make stroganoff with it, mushroom stroganoff." And I thought, well, you're gonna have to eat it, and then I'm gonna wait an
Right.
hour. But I generally don't count on getting my mushrooms from the forest or the front yard. I go to the supermarket. So let's talk about mushrooms and what you love about mushrooms, and let's dive in.
I mean, you're saying so much of what I love about mushrooms. I grew up with a family that like ate meat, but not very much. So I just feel like mushrooms have always been kind of a culinary friend. My mom didn't cook much meat. I remember the first time I ever foraged a mushroom. I had this
Mm.
job in college when I was home one summer like working for my dad's friend's printing company. They like printed for Bruegger's Bagels, if anybody knows where that is. And so they had this like beautiful office on like a property in Western Pennsylvania, and morels would pop up after the rain.
Mm.
And so I brought morels home and freaked my parents out by frying them and eating them. But
Well, if you have to freak your parents out about something, then that's
right.
not so bad, really,
Yeah, exactly. Of the
right?
mushrooms I could have chosen. So I feel like I just grew up like cooking with them a lot, eating them a lot, both fresh and dried. I feel like
Mm.
maybe just in the past handful of years, really, I've started thinking about wanting to have dried mushrooms on hand when I can as a pantry staple. But I really love them fresh too, and probably cook with them a little bit more fresh. But dried, what's so fun is like anytime you rehydrate dried mushrooms, it's a twofer. You get the mushrooms themselves, which you
Mhm.
can do a bunch of stuff with, and then you get that rehydration liquid, which
Mm.
either can be like a great base for a soup. You just use it as stock. It is mushroom stock. Or if you're a little crazy like me, you can heat it up and drink it.
Oh, never would have thought of that. It probably almost like a tea. You can heat it up
Yeah, totally. It's like
and
mushroom
get that
tea. I really
mushroom
like it.
tea. If I put a little lemon in that, maybe that would be even more in
It's a great
my,
idea. I should
yes.
do that because the only
Okay.
time I don't like it is if it's cold, it's really freaky. But I feel like even if it's cold, lemon might help.
Yeah. So what about the health benefits? It's like, well, we want to talk about the earth carbon benefits from it, but we also want to talk about the personal health benefits. So can you riff on that a
Totally.
bit?
Yeah, so they're like I think this is especially true for vegetarians, but it's true for everybody that they're just great sources of protein and really
Mm.
amazing sources of fiber. And that's true whether you're eating them fresh or rehydrating them. Um, and then they've got like a whole bunch of different vitamins that are really good for you. Like they're a really great source of vitamin D, which is
Mm.
like helpful and kind of unusual for like plants. So again, that's like helpful for vegetarians.
Mhm.
Um, and then on the environment side, I mean, what's nice is like we all know that like plants have lower, just vastly lower carbon footprints than animal-based foods. This is a plant-based protein, and it has super low carbon footprint. You're talking like, you know, 10 times less than chicken, between 30 and 100
Mm.
times less than beef,
Mm.
depending on which study you're looking at. Like massive savings. So if it's ever a question of like, do I make the pasta sauce with some chopped added in mushrooms versus ground beef? And if you don't really care and you want to make a choice for the planet, you have your choice.
So smart. And I sometimes, when I'm sautéing, for example, sautéing mushrooms just to throw them in something,
Yeah.
I put a little soy sauce in and
Oh,
butter and soy sauce. I don't know what you think of that but it
no,
just,
I think that sounds delicious. And I was trying to remember what my mom used to do. She often made sliced shiitake mushrooms into almost like this, not bacon, but like kind of bacon
mm,
substitute.
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure she
Mhm.
used soy sauce, and I'm not sure what else, but something to give it that richness.
It suddenly becomes very rich and it can be even a little crispy, a little
Yeah,
bit,
totally.
That's good. I was doing a little research on mushrooms, and they're apparently the total number of varieties is 14,000.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
But of the ones that are edible, it's 2,100. Now, I can only think
Okay.
of about four or five myself.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a mind-blowing number.
Yeah.
And so these little things that come up are so magical. Let's just kind of name some, like shiitakes, your mother's shiitakes, and
I also love a porcini.
the
Um,
porcini. Yeah.
I feel like
Mm.
that's another one you can find dried. I love oyster mushrooms. Like if I were just gonna say one that is my favorite, and I think I don't know if I've had those dried actually, but they're incredible fresh. And for me, it's kind of like a texture thing. It's like
Mhm.
they're the ones that are a little frilly. People will know them. I mean, I love a workhorse button mushroom or white mushroom, primarily
Mhm.
because they're cheap and you can make them taste delicious.
Are they as
Um,
healthy, you think? Because they look so kind of cute and perfect. I'm
I
always
don't know.
suspicious.
That's a great question. I feel like I'm always suspicious of things that have been bred over
Yeah,
decades for harvest and transport.
exactly. And what about portobellos?
Do you remember the relationship between are portobellos and shiitakes one and the same? Are they different? I can't remember.
I don't think they're the same. I think of the portobello as this big thing, usually,
Yeah,
right? And the
I think so
shiitake.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
During this little pause before we go to the next segment with Caroline Saunders and talk more about actual mushroom recipes, we would love you to subscribe and be part of our universe. We hope to bring you many, many more stories with great recipes and consideration of the kinds of foods that you eat that are healthy for you and just happen to be healthy for the planet at the same time. And the great mushroom story is the first and foremost. So let's continue on with Caroline Saunders and more about mushrooms.
just to tell you a little story about portobello mushrooms, many years ago, my husband and I went to a chateau in France. There was a
Mm.
culinary institute run by a
Oh,
wonderful woman named Anne Willen. It was called, what was it called? It was a, was an English woman who had trained, with actually with Julia Child. And they were
whoa.
they were closing up the chateau. It was so wonderful to be there, even though they were packing up boxes and they were still testing stuff for a cookbook.
Mm.
And I couldn't, she's quite formal. This lady, Anne, is quite formal. And so I was wanting to bring something to the table metaphorically. And I said, "Oh, David makes a great portobello mushroom sandwich. David, you should tell it." Now, here's a woman who's gone through Cordon Bleu, and David cooks three things. I mean, and this is one of them, but I was like offering his great
Yeah.
recipe, which is you whip up a garlic and soy sauce, a little olive oil, and you slather it on the portobello mushroom, and then you either put it on a barbecue or in a pan so it gets nice and cooked, and then you sprinkle blue cheese on top of it, and you put it on a piece of toast. So,
Yum.
a kind of, yeah. And truthfully, it's fantastic.
That sounds
So, and she said that sounds quite nice, quite lovely.
We'll take that.
We'll take that. I thought that was a rave review from her.
Yeah, truly from her.
But I love to make mushroom soup and
Mm.
just some stock and some mushrooms and maybe some onions. And then I always put some sherry in and
Yeah.
maybe a little cream, but not a lot because you don't want to drown out the mushroomy flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds delish. Yeah, you're reminding me. I used to make something that was drowned in cream with mushrooms, which was when I was my France story is that I feel like maybe we've talked about this before, so stop me if we have. But I when I so I lived in France when I was studying at Le Cordon Bleu, but I also spent part of a summer there during college working on an organic farm through
Mm.
WOOF, Worldwide Opportunities on Organic
Yep.
Farms.
Yep.
And I stayed with this amazing farm stay host who took me on all these field trips, including to the side of the mountain of a castle that was just covered in bushes of thyme, the herb. And so that, long story short, put me on this track of like using thyme and mushrooms and
Mm.
cream together in like a
Mm.
pasta sauce. And I just like I must have made that meal once a week for like 7 years.
Well, you actually did tell me that story. And since we spoke, I'm putting time on everything. You can't believe
Oh,
it. It's like,
good.
and you're absolutely right. It's somewhere between a surprise when you taste it, but not
Yeah,
overpowering.
totally.
I just and I have some growing in a pot, so it was very
Yeah.
easy for me to do that. And I thought that was you inspired
So
that
good.
big
Oh, so
time. Trying to
good.
think. Now you do something you call it, is it a mushroom bourguignon?
I was having some friends over for a dinner party a couple months ago who are vegetarian. And I like kind of lean that way. And so made this mushroom bourguignon that was just awesome. And I think it's a New York Times recipe, but there's a bunch out there. It kind of just replaces the meat. And so you still have the classic preparation of like you're stewing down carrots and onions. And
I
it comes
mean,
out
those
like,
pearl onions you use though.
yes.
That's what Julia Child used to use.
Totally. And I love those so much. I love any
Yeah.
excuse to like cook a pearl onion to translucent. I just think it's the cutest thing in the world.
But it can't stand by itself. I'm sorry. It has to
No,
have
no,
it
it
has
can't.
to have a mushroom.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
And do you use red wine with that when you're
you do.
doing it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So it's all the classic hallmarks and like I think it's as good. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. So I think, what this reminds me is how oftentimes we overlook opportunities, the opportunity to find alternatives. Now, how long, I mean, I think the good thing that you're saying about some mushrooms can be bought dried and then they just sit in the pantry and it's the last minute and what am I going to do? And then, so with the dried mushrooms, we just put hot water on them and they They come back to
Yeah,
life.
and it usually takes like 15 to 30 minutes to fully rehydrate them. But you
Mm,
can be doing something else while that's happening, getting the rest of dinner ready. I'm often like, if it's a last minute thing, I'm often like tossing them into a pasta sauce that has a few
mhm,
other components. And then the
mhm,
mushrooms are like the protein and substantial part. It's
mhm.
perfect when you're coming back from a trip and are like, yes, I want to throw together an emergency pasta, but I don't want it to just be pasta, oil, and cheese.
Yeah, yeah. And where do you get your dried mushrooms? You get them at the store or do you get them? Is there a place online that you recommend?
I love the brand Melissa's.
Yeah, Melissa's has been around for quite some time.
Okay.
And I think it's an online and they have unusual foods. Isn't that right? Do I have
Yeah, I
the
think so.
right company? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because our marketplace editor used to work there and she loved
Oh,
it. She
cool.
loved it. She said they were great. So
Oh, that's
we
awesome.
can happily recommend them. Okay, well, I there's so much more to say about mushrooms, but
I have
I
one more fun fact that I think
great, great. We love fun
listeners might be
facts.
interested in.
Yeah.
I am always wondering, like, what should I buy organic versus what should I not dedicate the money to buying organic? And the interesting thing about mushrooms is that they are on the Environmental Working Group's Clean 15, which means that it's not from a your personal health perspective, they don't have much pesticide residue on them. I think it was like in the latest study they did, 6 out of 10 of the mushroom samples they looked at had absolutely no pesticide residue
Yeah.
on them, which is great.
Mhm.
And so it's nice to buy organic, but if you're on a budget and you're prioritizing,
Right.
yeah.
That's such a good piece of information because I go to the store and I do want to buy organic, and then I see it's maybe $3 more for the this or the
Right.
that, and it's I'm feeling a little gouged by
Totally.
those prices. On the other hand, I don't want to get the pesticides in my system.
Right.
So mushrooms are a great alternative. So I can just pile on mushrooms and I suppose if they sit in my refrigerator too long, what can I do to kind of keep them around? Yeah, what's a good riffable thing I can do with them if they're getting sort of
Oh,
towards the end of their
that's a nice idea. Yeah, if definitely cooking is your friend if it's sort of like on its last legs. If they become slimy, you don't want to use them. But if they're just a little wrinkly and ready to go, then might I recommend, I'm going to recommend two things. First thing is closer to my heart, a tiny little mushroom pot pie. This
Oh,
is one of the things I used to make with a bunch of thyme and cream.
oh,
Um, is
wow.
I would like saute them first and in cream, in thyme, in garlic, in butter, just sort of like eyeball it, make something that looks tasty and tastes tasty, a little salt. Um, Put it into like kind of a single serve, like dish, ramekin, whatever you
Mhm.
have,
Mm.
frozen puff pastry over top. You have an incredible mushroom pot pie.
Wow, that's so easy.
It's so easy.
So you mix all that together, you put the puff pastry on top, and you stick it in the oven for till it's happy
Like,
and
yeah,
brown.
until it's happy and brown. And that's if it's
Mhm.
400 degrees, maybe that's like 15 minutes. But the
Wow.
beauty is you've already like par cooked or mostly cooked the mushrooms, so it doesn't take too long.
All right. Well, tell you what, I'm going to run to the kitchen and start making that. Thank you again for being with us. It's
Thanks for
so
having
fun,
me.
and I love mushrooms. So thank you
Yeah.
for the conversation.
Our
Okay.
favorite fun guy. Thanks, Vicki.
Thank you for joining us on Imagine If from Bluedot Living. If you want to explore our recipes, products for your home and lifestyle, and read interesting stories, you can find us at bluedotliving.com. And for daily inspiration, you can follow us at Bluedot Living on Instagram. If you enjoyed this conversation, share it. And please add your thoughts in the comments on YouTube. I'm Victoria Riskin, and we'll be back next week with more stories from great people doing amazing things in their little corner of the planet.